Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on the podcast. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. I love hanging out with you.
I know this. Okay, so we just recorded Sarah's podcast and it was so much fun.
It was so just chill and nice.
I love the rebrand.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
Okay, why did you decide to do the rebrand from unattainable to the group chat?
Yeah.
What's the what's the switch? Because I was on the obviously on your podcast years. I feel like it was 2 years at this point.
I think so. Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah. Zoom interview.
Because Rella was just.
I don't even think we started. I think I just talked about the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about the rebrand. Why did you decide to do that?
Yeah. So I had been, and I'm sure you felt this before, I had been sort of in a rut with the podcast, and I think I got kind of complacent because it just wasn't really where I wanted it to be, and it was called Attainable, and it just felt like you hear Attainable, and I started it, and this is technically our third name.
Okay, wait, what were the iterations?
Oh my God. So the first one didn't last very long, many episodes at all. So I just sort of it's basically just Attainable. The first one was, oh my God, I remember. What Else podcast.
What Else podcast?
What Else podcast. Okay.
It's not bad.
Do you remember, did you ever see that video of the little kid and he's super Southern, he's making a grocery list and his mom's okay, we need strawberries, and he goes, strawberries, what else? And then she's like, we need spaghetti stuff. He goes, skitty stuff, what else?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, it's one.
Was it Vine or was it YouTube?
It was it went everywhere. I think I saw it as a Facebook video. It's old.
Okay.
Old. And it's one of my mom and I's favorite phrases. Not something you name your podcast after. But I remember us being by the pool and I was like, oh my God, what else? It's we say it all the time. It'll be what else is going on? What else is new?
It's not. I feel like you could have. There's so many segments you could have done.
It was. I was also in just a very different time then. So started with What Else, and we went into it Attainable, and I was definitely in my self-help book era.
Okay.
And so it was sort of a self-help podcast ish. Or we had people interviews coming on and about their life and their career, and we would talk about kind of anything, but it was helpful and inspirational. And within the last probably this year is when I just kept going on a podcast. I was this isn't fun. I don't find this fun. And I remember, I think it was March or April when I looked at it. I just looked a little too hard. I was just looking at our Instagram and I am very much when I switch, it's night and day.
Okay.
And I looked at it, I felt it switch. I was I hate everything I've ever done. I hate this whole podcast. I hate all of it. I hate it. And I was oh God. Okay, so we got to change. And this time I really took much more time than I have taken with any other project. I'm a very impulsive with creative projects. I'm kind of hurry up and run before I lose the idea. I was no, I really want to take my time with this. I want to be very purposeful. If it's not coming to me, don't force it. Let things really fall into place in a natural way. So yeah, it took me 3 or 4 months to actually get up. So now we are mutual friends. We've got a segment called the group chat.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I was the group chat.
No, it's all good. No, the group chat, it's our beginning segment. And mutual friends, the whole concept behind it, it's your group chat in a podcast form.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about oh my God, did you hear about this? And the trending
love
topics.
That.
And then, dating stuff or listing nostalgic things or giving advice, or we'll do, something that's just sort of fun. It's a very casual. It's much more me. When I was doing this rebrand, I was talking to people. They're okay, what do you want? And I was rat energy. I don't know why. I just kept saying rat energy.
Okay.
I was I just want this to be fun and stupid, and if it's helpful, I don't want it.
I want toxicity.
I want toxicity. I don't want to be helpful. I don't want to be inspirational. I want you to laugh. I want you to come out inspired, but not because we said something enlightening, because you felt you could hang out and just be you.
Yeah.
And that was the everything behind. And then things just kind of fell into place. My mom has a horrible mouth, and because of that I also have a horrible mouth, and I wasn't even allowed to say crap growing up.
Really?
But now I use, oh wait, can I curse on your podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, motherfucker all the time. Motherfucking this, whatever. And so it's the fact that it's MF, like the abbreviation was MF, that just sounded funny.
Oh,
I was like, that's hysterical.
it.
Mutual friends, it like tied into like my online life, and that I was like an extrovert and I have a lot of friends and I like making friends, and the podcast is how I've made friends. That's how we became friends. Like, all this type of stuff. And then like even down to the set design, I'm very grateful my aunt and uncle like work on like sets, and they do a lot of editing, and they've been in like Hollywood and stuff, so they came to my house. And for my birthday, I just had done like this painting that I was like, I want all my friends to work on this one piece of art, and we'll all just kind of add to it, and it'll be a mess, but it'll be like a painting done by all my friends. It'll mean something. And it looks, for a little bit, it looked like a Chuck E. Cheese like carpet. And then my artistic friend like kind of looked at it with everybody had added their schmears, and she's like, okay. And then she like touched it up, and now it like looks like a true piece of art, which I'm very grateful for. And it was just like in the corner because we hadn't hung it up yet. And my aunt came in, she was like, we have to have that in the studio. Like, that's perfect. So that's now in the background, like, of my home studio.
I love
and
that.
I was like, that's funny that you like immediately chose that, because that was painted by all my friends, and this is called Mutual Friends. So it just, I really like, everything feels, I'm like, okay, we're there's no more name changes. Like, this is who we are. It feels very like organic, and I also felt like a better reflection of the community as well.
Yeah.
And like all the comments and the people that listen and that have like engaged with us, and I've able to had conversation with, I was like, yeah, this is more us.
Yeah. I feel like also you blew up semi recently, I'd say in the past like year and a half, and the stuff that makes you blow up is not the inspirational content. It's like just you chatting as if we're on FaceTime. Yeah. You know, so it does feel like you're just like talking to friends. Yeah.
I almost like, I was almost did like something like the laundry room or something, because like
the laundry video, but then you're stuck to.
But I'm stuck. I was like, no, I don't want to be stuck. And honestly, like, thank God it took me forever to get out of like homey content and laundry content for a while. Like, for the 6 months after I blew up, like, if I posted anything that didn't involve like laundry or a home DIY or like something like homemaking, my followers were like, no. No, not that.
Stick to what you know.
Stick to what you know. Yeah. The wedding really actually is what like broke me out, and I was able to get into lifestyle, and now it's like everything. And if I post laundry content, like sometimes it doesn't do as well, which I'm actually really grateful for, because I think that
how much laundry content can you make?
Can you really make? Like, I mean, I love laundry, but come on, like there's only so much laundry that you can do. Like,
So I feel like you've had like your different eras. You know, you've had the what else era. Yeah. You've had your attainable one. Yeah. And now you're in this mutual friends era. And I also think, so we're going through a slight rebrand as well. So we're not going to change names. Yeah. But I also started doing, like on the Real, it was doing like interviews with entrepreneurs and all of this stuff. And I like, since you also like watch my content and stuff, so you know what I post. My issue is that I don't like niching down. Like, I
hate niching down.
Hate it. And I am very like, I want to talk about my business. Yeah. I want to talk about, I want to provide value when it comes to that, and like help people, because I know other people might have businesses that they want to start and they might turn to my content for that. But that's not the only stuff I want to post, because I love lifestyle content. Yeah. So I want to post about like me being single and dating, and I also want to post about like what I do on the weekends with my friends in Miami.
Like, dress recommendations, like
Thank you.
When you post
or like
with your dresses. Yeah,
thank you. I want to post like fashion content, whatever, and then also business content, and I just feel like it doesn't mix. I'm like, I don't know. So I'm in this like crisis right now of where I'm like, I don't know what people want to see. I don't know what they like to see, because I like posting so much stuff. So I'm just kind of posting everything, but then I feel like people get confused. And so with the Real, we're kind of making it more about like navigating adulthood, just chatting about like what I would talk about with my friends. Yeah. Slightly similar to your concept, where it's like, okay, just like chatting and having a conversation rather than being like all about, inspirational business type of stuff.
I wanted to change like things from like an interview to a co-host situation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of what I want to do as well. Like, I still want to interview entrepreneurs or people that I think are like really cool and like ask them about their story, but I want it to sound as if like you're sitting down and we're like at a coffee shop. Yeah. And we're just like chatting rather than like, oh, okay, so tell me about this. Right. Tell me like, about this. Next question. Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't know. I'm like, if you see my content, like, what do you think, like, Are you confused?
No. No. It's so funny. Like, it's so nice, you know, when you're validated by like other people's thoughts, because you think, of course, like you're the only one. And I think a lot of influencers like go into these like ebbs and flows and everything, especially when you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh my, like how it is helpful to understand how you're seen from the outside.
Yes.
Because, and I had to think about that a lot with the podcast rebrand, because one of the names that was thrown out that almost the name was attention whore.
Oh.
And which I thought was so funny, because it's something that I've been like called more internally in my life.
Okay.
But then I realized like, oh, externally, like people really didn't see. They thought that word was very harsh, and they didn't really see me as that. Even though I'm like, no, like if you were my family, they're like, no, she's an attention, look at her, like whatever. But I do think it's nice to see how like people perceive you, and it's helpful. I don't think that you're confusing at all, but I think it does, like when, you know, it is lifestyle, and when it's centered around like your personality, like it's not like the niche is Natalie. So, and that when you are that person, it can be like really odd. Like you're like, I don't know, like you, even though we hate niches, we do kind of want a label. Like we're trying to describe it. Like when somebody asks like, what is your content about?
Yes.
Like, shut up.
I know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, watch it for yourself. Like,
I don't know.
I'm like, I just post about my life. Yeah, I just say that I post about my life, but then I sound like a narcissist. I feel like if you're like,
well, I mean,
I just post about me.
Yeah, because when I say lifestyle influencer, it's very much like who I am. I'm really afraid that people are going to be like, oh, see, it's not real. Like, it's not interesting. I'm like, no, it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm interesting.
I know.
I don't find it confusing at all. I think that like it's very much has to do with like your life era that you're in. So like the dating, and then also running a business, and like all of that is a like certain lifestyle that people either aspire to or can relate to, like you know, working woman who likes to post about like beauty and fashion, and like you also go out on the weekends and you're with your friends. Like it's you're following like it's a lifestyle. It really is just lifestyle creation.
So I've always said the word like multifaceted, because I think that I don't like to niche down, because I do think that like just everyone is multifaceted. Like no one is just like one thing and that's it. And so if it's lifestyle, you can kind of talk about a bunch of different things. That would be a good name for a podcast if I did do a rebrand, something like that. And then the MF, it matches yours.
There you go.
But I always think that, because I know you probably feel the same way, because you were also in science for a while. So for me, I am someone that like I was on social media my whole life, like pretty much, like since I was 15. Like I've been on YouTube forever. So starting that young, and then going through college, and like I was an engineering major in school. So like whenever I would tell people that, it was kind of strange. Like it was like, really? Like you post like fashion videos on YouTube. Like why are you doing engineering? And then when I went and worked at like consulting, and then that was like, also whole, I did like, social media. Yeah. And then I quit that, became a full-time, you know, social media like influencer, whatever, moved to New York City, like all this stuff. And then I was just like, just an influencer. Okay. And then I had that itch to like go back into something else. So then I started a like tech company, and like, I just feel like I have so many, like different eras. Yeah. But also I think that I hate it. I hate that like, each one like if you said that you're an influencer, you are associated with like being girly and being you know, liking fashion and makeup and like social media and Instagram posts, and I like all of that. I am not ashamed to say that, like love that. But then when you hear about like the tech side of things, the science side of things, it's like, oh, you must be like a nerd, or you must not like those things.
And people like very quickly label you. Like it's so like people, you know, you post one video and I'm Panera Girl.
Yes.
You post one video and I'm Wedding Girl. You post another video and I'm if you haven't watched the video, this is gonna sound weird, but like safe word. There's a video about a safe word that's like on whatever. But like I'm, you know, the relationship safe word girl. Like people, it takes one time, which is a good and bad thing, and then they like then this is in real life too. Like I was a makeup artist for years, and that was like an era that I was in. I worked for Estee Lauder. Like I have some people that like, as I, you know, I've been out of that for years, and they're like, oh, you know, makeup girl. And I'm like, I haven't been a makeup artist for like freaking a long time, like 6 years at least. Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of like, you're in a mold, and I feel like they expect something out of you being in that mold, and then it's hard because like I want to post about all of these different things, not just one. But then it's like, okay, if I'm posting like day in the life of a founder, if I post anything else, it's kind of like, well, why are you posting that? That's not you're not supposed to be posted. Like, you're supposed to be posting about this. Like, we only want to see work content from you. We don't want to see like you hanging out with your friends. That's boring. And so I just like don't know what I think I have like a identity crisis on social media nowadays, because I'm like, I don't know what to post. I just want to post about like everything I'm interested in and like hope people like it.
I feel like I've gotten to the point where like I feel the feeling and like, you know, you're excited about like a certain piece of content. I don't know what that feeling is. It like just like creative spark, and I'm like, okay, and if I'm excited about the creative spark, then I'm like, we're good. But you know, then you put it out there, and if it doesn't get the views, that spark's really died down.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess no one wants to see this.
Yeah, it's very hard not to like get too caught up in the numbers.
Yes.
I think like having a marketing job as well, where there's a lot of similarities, but then a lot of differences, but they are very data based, and I think that has made my brain a little bit like, instead of seeing like numbers, like low numbers as like, you know, oh, this is bad, just being like, okay, this is like
an experiment.
Exactly. And okay, so, you know, with this particular content like topic, it's usually the topic that I want to keep. Like, I want to post about my friends, be like, okay, well then I need to change the delivery, like change, like, okay, are we gonna say something like crazy in the beginning as like a hook, or like, is this best done as like a short vlog, or do you want like a long YouTube video, or do you want like a voiceover, like that type of stuff. And that you can kind of like puzzle piece it together.
I want to walk through, because also I didn't know you were a makeup artist. That's
I've had like I've had a lot of jobs for.
I want to walk through, we're gonna call this like your Eras tour.
Yes. I'm still trying to get tickets, so this is so exciting.
I know, I'm trying. I went to her concert in Atlanta. Oh my god. I'm going in Sweden. I bought the Sweden tickets also. I'm so excited for next summer.
I'm sure you tried to get Miami.
I tried, did not succeed.
I don't know a single person that succeeded to get Miami.
Me either, but I'm like going to go no matter what. Like, I'm figuring out a way. It's in a year. It's in over a year. I've got time. Yeah. I'm going.
Oh my god, can I be in on that? Like, I want to go so bad.
I'll just buy a bunch of tickets in bulk and be like, sell them if I don't buy them. Yeah. But anyways, your Eras.
Yes. Yeah.
And why did you go into science? Because you were what, chemistry major?
Yes, I was chemistry major. No, full chemistry. And then I like picked up a minor like in communications, like my second year or something like that. I've been a STEM kid my whole life, and I don't know, like, where did you go to like middle and high school?
In North Carolina.
In North Carolina. Okay, so you probably would have had a similar experience. I don't know what was going on in like the education world when I was like in middle, high school, even elementary school, but STEM was pushed so much for me. Like, our curriculum was very STEM heavy, which I STEM's very important, and I think like you know, women in STEM, I had a lot of empowerment in that, and so I'm very thankful for that. But it also caused me to have like zero exposure to creative jobs, zero exposure to entrepreneurship or business, and somewhere along the line, a seed was planted and a narrative was put in my brain that business, marketing, communications were all bogus majors.
Literally the exact
and
same
bogus
thing.
Jobs. I was like, if you went into a communications or like business thing, like, oh, you're just like a partier, you're not actually here for the degree. You're like, you don't actually go anywhere. It's like cop outs.
Yeah,
and
I thought the same exact thing.
And so like I didn't even really explore it, because I'm like, oh, like, you know, and as like somebody in STEM, I was also like in GATE or GT or gifted and talented, whatever you want to say, like honors programs, and they really push you. They're like, if you're not doing the hardest thing, you suck. Like, you're stupid. You're stupid.
Yeah.
And so I was like, perfection. So if everybody else thinks that I'm smart, then I'm on the right path. And everybody like thought chemistry was really cool, and I was gonna go into physics. I'm much better at physics than I am chemistry.
Really? Oh my god, I hated physics.
I loved it. I hated biology. I still dog on biologists.
I hated any science, but I liked math.
Yeah, I loved math. I was much better at math. I hate memorization, so biology was not for me. I was very good at physics. the school I went to was too small to have a physics program, so the next best thing was chemistry. So that's kind of how I like landed into chemistry, but I knew I would do science. I didn't know why, but I knew that when I said, oh, I'm going to be a chemistry major and I'm going to be a research and development chemist, I'm going to be whatever, I got people saying, oh, like, you must be so smart. Oh, wow, that's so cool. Oh, you're going to be so successful. You're going to make so much money. That's amazing. And I was like, okay, that's amazing. Like, that's great things that people are telling me. Like, other people telling me about myself, that must be what I am. I must be smart, amazing, going to make a lot of money, very successful, and very cool. Neat. Like, set. I didn't take in any, like, regard to my own interests. And then in college, like, that's when I was exposed to business and marketing and makeup, and then went into makeup artistry, and I worked for Estee Lauder. I was a freelance artist for them.
In college?
Mm-hmm.
Were you, like, told, why are you doing that? If this,
yeah.
You know, like, it's so different than what you were doing in school.
Yeah. I was, like, I think people were very confused about what I was doing. And my friends were like, why are you in chemistry? Joseph, of course, he watched all of these eras happen.
Yeah.
And he told me all the whole time, he's like, what? You don't like chemistry? And I was like, what do you mean? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I even had, like, social media. Like, I at one time, at any given time in college, I had at least 2 jobs. At the most, I had 5. And I was doing, yes.
How did you have 5 jobs?
I don't fucking know. I have no.
What were your 5 jobs?
I was doing, like social media management here, and then I was also, like, doing, like, you know, communications management over here, an organizational assistant here. I was a freelance makeup artist for Estee Lauder. I was a freelance makeup artist for Benefit Cosmetics for a while.
Wow.
And, like, I got my start as a intern manager for the cosmetics department in Belk and Mount Pleasant. Like, I did a lot, but it was all kind of centered around, like, marketing communications for jobs. And so eventually, like, through college, I was like, okay, I'm getting a chemistry degree, like, so I'll understand, like, the science behind makeup.
Yeah.
But then I'll be in communications, and, like, that's super helpful or whatever. No, like, nobody knew what to do with me. I didn't know what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like, and so when I graduated, I was panicked. Like, a lot of my decisions were made based on other people's perceptions, which rough place to be in. And so when I was graduating, I made an ultimatum with myself. I was like, you will walk across that stage with a career, not just a job, a career. Yeah. And it had to sound impressive, and I had whatever I said, because I was like, okay, we have been saying we're a chemistry major. Whatever job that we say, we have to continue people saying, that's so smart, that's so cool, you're going to be so successful, you're going to make so much money, like, that's great, whatever. It's like, okay, well, I got to make sure. And so I applied for so many jobs. I started in marketing communications jobs, but of course they didn't know what to do with me. They're like, they didn't even talk to me. Like, they didn't answer my resume, and I don't blame them. So, and then the first chemistry job I applied for, they got back to me. For a research and development chemist, I still question their judgment on putting I was 21, putting a 21-year-old in a research and development, like, in the chemistry world. Yeah, I wasn't in it for very long, but from my, like, I was very young being in, like, that department. You go in as, like, an analyst. I don't know why I was like, I don't know what decision was made there. No, I was also underpaid. It was, like, great.
Like, research is always underpaid, right?
Research is always underpaid. Pharmaceuticals is a beast and horrible. But yeah, they were just the first to answer, and I was like, I saw that, and I was like, okay, well, I have to have a job. Like, I have to have a job walking across the stage, so this must be what I'm meant to do. And I just did it. And then so I proceeded to lose my soul.
Yeah. So how long were you doing that?
I didn't stay in as a research development chemist for more than 6 months.
Were you still doing makeup on the side?
Yeah, I did a little bit. Not as much. I was only with Estee Lauder. I think I started with Estee Lauder in 2016, and then I kind of slowed that down because since it was freelance, like, you could say yes or no to things. Once I graduated, I really didn't take many jobs, and then I pretty much hard stopped in, like, the end of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what did you do after that?
So when I left chemistry, I went back home, and I was like, oh, I'm rock bottom, but if I'm going to be rock bottom, I might as well do it at the ripe age of 22. Like, you know, like, very dramatic, but I moved back home, and I gave myself, I think, like, 2 weeks to, like, basically mourn a past life. I was like, okay, I literally have no idea who I am or what I'm doing. It was terrifying. It was the most, like, my health was horrible. My mental health was horrible. It took years to undo what that job did, and then what that transition out of college did, which I'm very, like, you know, I've got a lot to say about, like, that transition out of college. I think it's, like, very hard and not, like, not done very well.
Yeah.
But I gave myself 2 weeks, and I worked for TJ Maxx, and I was
Like in the store?
In the store.
Okay.
I was there, basically like a frontline manager. So when you're walking through TJ Maxx and you go through that thing where you always want to pick up the stuff, I was in charge of that area, and then the cashiers.
Okay.
And so I was in charge of like the product and how that product looked, as well as like the strategy and like operations behind the cashiers and like everything like that. Which actually, like, I enjoyed it, but again, I didn't want to do that forever.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I don't love retail. I don't think that the retail like full-time track is very great. Being in retail I had been in retail like a lot, so I was like, I know that this isn't a place to grow. I don't think retail is a great place to grow.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, I'm not gonna go back to school for a degree. Like, I'm not going to pay for it. So
Yeah.
I just read books. I read on my lunch breaks, and then after work I had nothing to do and I was mentally unwell. So I just read enough books where I was like, if I read enough books by people who have lived these past lives, like maybe I'll absorb like what their like life was or something. And I just read book after book after book.
So that was your self-help.
That was my self-help era.
Okay. And that's is that when the Attainable podcast came to be?
Yes.
Okay. So
and then like Attainable podcast came from COVID and me like finding myself, and I started freelancing like not like when COVID happened, TJ Maxx shut down, and I had just like met somebody. Then she was like, I'll pay you, I think it was like $25 an hour to basically like assist me, and she was a coach, an online coach for freelancers. So she taught me how to be a freelancer, how to run like a freelance business, and then like once everything opened back up to go back to work, I had been making it's not hard to make more money than I was at TJ Maxx. Like, so I was making more money. So I was like, okay, like let me try freelancing. And then like, and at that point I was like, oh, I'm winning. Like, I'm a freelancer. I'm a marketing freelancer. Like, it's time for me to start a podcast and talk about my genius, I guess. Like, I don't know. Yeah. And then that kind of rolled out.
Okay, and then you blew up because of laundry.
And then I blew up because of laundry. So I was working for myself and freelancing from 2020 to 2022.
Freelance marketing, right?
Freelance marketing, yes. No way. 2019.
I feel like you blew up in like what, 2021?
No. What year is it?
Actually, no, you did in 2022.
I blew up in 2022. Yeah. So I was freelance marketing until I blew up in March. And then because I blew up and I then started applying for other jobs, kind of accidentally. I was looking for clients. I was going to try and pitch myself as a contractor. And then that's when I applied for the job that I have now with the company I'm with. Going in thinking, oh, I'll pitch them as a contractor, like, and I want them as a client. And then coming out with, oh my God, I have a full-time job. Like, okay, cool.
So can you like tell me about when you posted that video? Mm-hmm. Like, what were you posting frequently before then? Were you trying to grow on social media? Yeah. And then like what happened? What was the thought process of posting? It was kind of just like another random video.
Yeah. I was doing like social media, like freelancing and stuff. And so I thought of TikTok as like a really good research. And I was like, let me like try it out as like a newer platform. Let me just try. And I've always wanted to be like a YouTuber and an influencer. I've always wanted to be that. I thought it was something that everybody thought, and so you don't really pay attention to it. Like, it was just this underlying undertone, and like whatever you dreamed about in like middle school, it will come back to bite you in the ass.
I always think that. Like, I think that what you wanted to be when you were little actually is
100%.
It's more likely what you're going to do when you're older versus like your major. Like, your major means nothing.
It means nothing.
Yeah. Like, I always, when I was little, I wanted to be in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. Always. Like, I tried acting.
Be a performer?
Yes. I was in acting. I tried theater. I did like, I just wanted to be in front of the camera. If you watch my like home videos from when I was a baby or when I was a kid, I would always like ask my dad to film so I could like film I was like doing vlogs when I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
When that was not a thing.
And you don't think it means anything until you're sitting in this spot and you're like, oh my God, like, she knew.
Yeah, I wanted to like be an author at one point, and even though I'm not like a writer right now, I just loved storytelling. Like, I loved storytelling. I loved being in front of the camera. And so back then that wasn't really a job. When you're 8 and you're asked like, what do you want to be when when you grow up, like, especially back then, that wasn't 2004. Like, that was not, influencer was not a thing.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm looking back, I'm like, wow, I'm literally doing exactly that. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do when I was younger. And then I got a degree in engineering, which
I know
doesn't add up.
Yeah, it didn't. I don't know. Like, I just didn't have exposure. That's why I also, like, people dog on the internet all the time, and I'm like, there's so many lives and, like, jobs that I didn't know existed, though, and, like, things that I didn't know was possible until, like, you see it on the internet.
Exactly.
So I started, like, I posted, and then I started experimenting to post consistently. A week before I posted the laundry video that, like, made my career, I said, okay, it was Monday. I posted that video Saturday. Monday, I was like, I'm going to post every single day and I don't know for how long, but I'm going to do it. Like, I'm just going to do it. So I did. I posted every single day. I posted twice on Friday, and on Saturday I blew up. I think that was coincidental timing. I think that I had been posting relatively consistently weekly since January, and that was March. So yeah, I think the stars kind of aligned there. Yeah. And then that just kicked off everything.
Were you like, okay, I'm full-time now?
It was like
1 million views, whatever, how many views, like, goodbye, freelance. Like,
I was like, oh, something's happening, because it wasn't just, you can get a lot of views and not get a lot of followers. I gained so many followers in so little time.
What do you think it was? Like, why?
I know exactly what it was.
Oh, okay.
I know exactly what it was. So I'm a cheap ass. Yeah. Because I went back and I was like, okay, I'm going to study this. Like, why did I get followers? Some people get millions of views and don't get any followers. Like, why did people follow me? And then I looked back at my other content. Thankfully, I had been posting, like, relatively, consistently. And in a lot of my videos, there was this undertone storyline of budget groceries or cheap makeup, or there was something, or I would say something, and you could tell that I'm a cheap ass at my core. And that is what brought people in. I'm
also going to add, though, that could be like a theme of like, oh, I want to save money, let me follow her.
Yes.
But there's a lot of people that make saving money budget videos, and it's because of your personality.
And that's a lot of people say, like, it's your personality,
it's your personality.
So appreciate.
You feel like you're on, like, when you were setting up that video, it was like camera right here on your car, like it was it didn't feel very edited. And you were just...
It was in the Walmart parking lot. Yeah. It's so funny. I'm like, I want to talk to Walmart and be like, can I get, like, a plate or something? Like, a little gold plaque? Because, like, that's the parking lot in this tiny-ass Walmart by my house where my career started.
Yeah, because I'm like, because it feels like you're on FaceTime. It's similar to, like, all of these other people that are blowing up. Like, I'm going to compare you to Alex Earl.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay. I'm not going to tell you no.
Because, her, like, get ready with me's. Yeah. They feel like you're on FaceTime with a friend getting ready. Or they give me the vibe of, like, remember when you were in college and you were a freshman, you were going out for the very first time, and you and your roommates were all getting ready together, and you had music playing, and you guys are all, like, talking about, like, what are you going to do? Who are you going to meet? Like, who's texting you? Who's Snapchatting you? Like, whatever. That is what her videos feel like.
Yes,
like,
100%.
It feels like that. Your videos feel like I'm talking to a friend and I'm just, like, catching up and you're telling me a funny story. Or you're telling, it's like, that's what it feels like. And I think that there's so many people on the internet that aren't that comfortable with themselves. And I'm going to say, like, I feel like I'm not, like, fully myself on the internet, even after doing it for so long.
Really?
And it's like, I still feel like, oh, like, maybe something needs to be edited more. Something needs to... I can't be, like, my full authentic self, whatever, to an extent. And I don't feel that way with you. I feel like you are just, like, you get what you get. I'm sure
it's going to bite me in my ass someday.
No,
I hope not.
You get, it's so you, and, like, people can see that, and so that's why they follow you.
I love that. No, and that's what I try to portray. And I have no filter. I have no, like, I say this often, and it's funny because now people, like, are wanting it on shirts, which I just love. Like, they're in my comments, like, embarrassment is a wasted emotion. It literally serves no purpose. Like, the only time that I will ever allow myself to get embarrassed is if I was, like, a dickhead or something, or I made, like, a move where I hurt somebody on accident. I've never hurt somebody, and then I'm like, oh, I'm embarrassed for that behavior. But, like, I posted something. Listen, I drank 2 matchas yesterday. I was a little tummy sick. And I accidentally farted in the Uber, and it was audible. And I was like, I posted about it, And there's very few videos I will do that with. That is a video that I like screen recorded. I said to my friends, I was like, can I post this? Like, I need like a double check. And they were like, no, you have to post that. Because I was just like, yeah, I can't. Like, I don't know. I just have, embarrassment's a wasted emotion. And I'm too tired. I can't like be somebody else. I don't know how to be like.
And that's why people like you. Like, that's definitely why. And that's why like you're going to continue to grow and like be successful. And like, I think it's just like you feel like you're talking to a friend, you know, and I would tell my friends that, you know, it's like, if I'm like, for example, if I'm at a friend's apartment and I'm like going to the bathroom and they're like studio apartment or 1-bedroom apartment, I'm like, okay, you guys need to play like TikTok, play music, like you can't listen to anything, whatever. But I would never like talk about that on the internet because I still feel like, I don't know, but like you don't have that, like you don't feel that way.
I think it depends on what platform you started with as well. Like, I don't know if I will post that video on Instagram because like TikTok's a very different culture.
That's so true.
And there's so much more that you can get away with.
Yeah.
That people like. And so, and like Instagram, I think I'm gonna hit 10K today. Like I think I'm like looking at the numbers and I've been really trying. But that's very much a different platform for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so but I started on TikTok, that is rat energy. But I love it now because people they comment a lot. They're like, I love your personality. And when somebody says you're so funny, I'm like, screenshot, because my family being my immediate family, mom, dad, brother, very funny people, very dry, witty humor. They've always called me the unfunny one.
Really?
They have my whole life. They're like,
so you have like a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. My little brother came out the womb and he was like spitting out one-liners. Like they're a different kind of funny. And my mom, like, she's like, Sarah, you're not funny, like, trying to be funny. You're just kind of funny because you're, like, just doing shit. Like, I don't even know.
Can you please do a group podcast with your family? Like, I want
mom, dad, brother, you.
God,
100%. 100%.
Come to New York, sit in the studio.
Yeah, and I'm like, we're doing a family podcast. We're having it. We do family meetings sometimes. We only do them at Disney World. I don't know why. We don't have family meetings outside.
How often do you go to Disney World?
They're Disney Vacation members, so pretty often.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't renew my annual pass when I got married, but like there was times where we were going like 5 to 7 times a year.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Now I'll go like once. They'll go like 4 times a year or something.
Okay.
But yeah, no, we have like a family meeting. I remind them often though. I'm like, I would like to let you all know that I'm the only one paid to be funny now. So
yeah, exactly.
Every single person. I remind them every family function.
Exactly.
Like, oh, did you see this video that Sarah did? I'm like, oh my God. What have you been telling me all my life? Like,
I hope people come up to you when you're with them and they're like, Sarah, I love you. You're so funny.
I know. I'm like, please, if anybody's, like, you see me in real life, especially if you see me with a blonde woman or a brown-haired man or a blonde-haired little twerp, then you're like, that's family, and I should remind them that their daughter is hysterical.
Like, your daughter is the funniest person on the internet.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Really lay it on.
Yeah.
I'll just look at him like...
Hire like a paid actor to do that with your family. Have like you're walking through Disney and there's like constant people coming up to you being
start
like,
a line.
I love you.
It's so funny. I'll be like, oh my God. They're like, really? That's crazy. Thank you.
But okay, so you're also, I mean, you're doing it like you make enough money to do it full time.
I do.
And you have another job.
I do.
Why?
It's like being very transparent has gotten to the point where like one is making more than the other. And it's very new, and it really comes down to I remember what it felt like to not be able to pay bills from freelancing and working for myself. It was not a fun experience for me. And like I remember, a month before my first video blew up, I've been on like our bathroom floor crying to Joseph, being like, I'm so sorry, I can't pay the mortgage again. Like, I remember what that felt like, and I'm very scared of that feeling again. So, like, I'm so grateful. Like, we're kind of coming to a point where like having to readjust finances and look at like the income and figure out like where that's being put, and we're putting into retirement, like all that kind of stuff. I'm so grateful for that. I still have a scarcity mindset on like the full-time job offers security. Influencing, I still don't know what that looks like as far as like security goes. I just signed with new management, which I'm super excited for. But I still don't know what that looks like and what that looks like in the spring. Holiday season, I don't think I can make many financial like decisions as far as influencing, because I think everything looks different in January and February.
Yeah.
You know? So that, and I love my job.
That's awesome.
I love my job and I love the people and like, you know, when I say, yeah, I love it. I really love what I do. I love the people. And it's really interesting to be in a position where both the things that you do, you don't need for income. Like if I were to let go of one, I have the other. And so I get to love both just for what it is.
Yeah.
And I really, really like that.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And it's good because like you said, you were first at a chemistry job, like a research job where you didn't like it.
Yeah. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to not be making money, and I know what it's like to be making money and hating it.
Yeah, and that's just like worst of both worlds.
Yeah. And the full-time job is so, like, I'm such an extrovert.
Yeah.
Influencing can be very lonely.
It can be super lonely.
And even as a remote employee, like, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like, so I get to, like, come to New York and be with my coworkers, and it really is like a family. So I get to have that interaction. And they really push me. I think they make me a better person, which then makes me a better influencer. And I can have the two and separate them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they both, like, make me better for each other kind of thing.
That's amazing. I'm happy that you have that because I feel like a lot of, especially going through, like, I know what it's like to go through a major that you just are doing for validation.
Yeah.
Or I know what it's like to, like, work at a job that you hate. And so the fact that you've kind of, like, found yourself and then also now have a platform that you can, like, broadcast it to and also make money from that is really cool. And so many people listening to this, that's like their dream to do.
Yeah, I know. I feel so very grateful. And of course, like, this isn't the end. Like, it never is. I don't really think there's an ending destination. But like, just being able to do something that I love, and I love both, and being able to do both because I love it. I'm like, oh, that's like really, really like, oh, well, it's only up from here, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I really liked going through all of your eras.
Thank you.
And that's what this episode will probably be, something along those lines.
I love it.
Called.
No. As a newly
something
inducted,
multifaceted, something about that, yeah.
As a newly inducted Swiftie, like, I feel so honored to be taken through that experience, and like, I will make it to a concert.
It's a good exercise to do for anyone listening. You know, go through your own little eras. Yeah,
yeah. And I'm not like, everybody's like, oh, the board eras is out. No, it's not. Don't shut your mouth. Don't say that. Era cannot die. Like, I think it's so. It's such a fitting word.
It's so fun.
It's so fun.
Girls make everything fun.
Girls make everything fun. We literally, I'm telling you, the Barbie movie. I'm shit. Hold on. The Halloween. Okay, are you aware of the movement that, like, all the girlies are doing for Halloween?
How we're all gonna dress up as Barbie
and then learn the disco dance.
Oh, I didn't know the dance.
Oh, I'll send the video tutorial. Oh, I went out the other night and, like, we were, like, laughing, saying hi Barbie, like, because we were with, like, our boyfriends, so we were saying hi Barbie. These group of girls came by and I said hi Barbie, and one of them said hi Barbie.
I know. And I love it.
I looked at her. I was like, hi Barbie. I started, like, tearing up. It's like a real life Barbie experience. No, we're all doing that. We're all of us for Halloween are dressing up as different Barbies, and we're gonna learn the dance. And so when they play it in the club, it'll be like a global flash mob, and that, I'm positive, is how women are gonna take over the government.
I love that.
Yeah.
Starting with you at the Chambers of Commerce.
Starting with me at the Chambers of Commerce.
Listen to her podcast if you don't get that reference. Yeah. But thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Where can they find, like, all of your links, your podcast, the rebrand, everything?
All the things. So my podcast, Mutual Friends, on all platforms. It's like mutual.friends.podcast on Instagram and TikTok, and on YouTube, I'm Sarah E. Boss. You can find the podcast under the podcast playlist. I am Sarah E. Boss everywhere: Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, all the things. It is Sarah E. Boss. It's not Sarah Hebus. I've learned that that's been a.
Sarah Hebus.
We'll address that at a different time. Sarah E. Boss, BAUS, everywhere.
Amazing. Yeah. Thanks for coming on.